was applauded for providing necessary information to communities about the benefits of conserving forests. I plead with the Department of Forestry to drill a borehole that can be used to water our plants. Mr. Mothanke reminded the residents of Kisa that it is illegal to cut trees without a license in Botswana. He also encouraged them to adopt conservation methods to preserve forests for future generations. BTV News.
The Deputy Manager of Employee Relations at the Ministry of Local Government and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Mike Daukubong, says they have inherited equipment that is in poor state from the Ministry of Health to the Ministry of Local Government. He said maintaining such equipment will be a burden to councils that are already struggling with low budgets and urged councillors to sell some to raise funds. He shared this while addressing Tsavo District Council recently. Tsolofelo Tombale reports.
The decentralization of health services came with much fanfare around the country, as clinics will fall under the local government. But this transition is not without challenges, as some resources or assets that were previously under Ministry of Health are lying idle and cannot be serviced again. Councils around the country will have to adapt to and find better ways of benefiting from these assets.
Central government
You shouldn't wait on central government to collect this unserviceable equipment. You should sell it to fill the funding gaps you have.
Some of the ideas
Mr. Daukubong also revealed that they have been working closely with unions to ensure that the transition of personnel to their ministry goes smoothly.
The Human Resource Committee.
There is a committee that focuses on the labor force. It's the Human Resource Committee, and together with the unions, it looks at the issues of the employees of the clinics. We were assured that during this ongoing process, no workers will lose their jobs. Councillors expressed their opinions on the transition.
I also have to show and to state that I truly embrace the moving of the clinics and the health posts to council.
My interest is asset register.
My focus is on the asset register. There needs to be a value assessment, so when these assets are passed to us to insure them, everything would have been done correctly.
Insure the assets.
It was also shared that ongoing primary health projects will continue being handled by the Ministry of Health for the 2025 to 2026 financial year, since the budget for that period was created under that ministry. Tsolofelo Tombale, BTV News, Gaborone.
The psychosocial treatment of inmates at Botswana Prison Service is seen as a constructive way to help rehabilitate and guide inmates in making progressive character change as they prepare for reintegration into society. The Assistant Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Mr. Augustine Nyatanga, says the program helps with offender-victim reconciliation and should be taken more seriously, as it also helps reform prisoners to get them to be accepted back into their respective communities. Gabriel Mereki has more.
Botswana Prison Services is in its 5-year strategic transformational plan to transform into a correctional service aligning with national security, with the focus on rehabilitation and reintegration. Therefore, psychosocial treatment program has been cited as very pivotal to help inmates in behavioral change before being released to rejoin the public.
re batla go itse gore o dirile molato o ntseng jang.
We do this through knowing the person upon their arrival at our facility to understand the root cause of what have caused them to offend, while also understanding their needs so that we can remedy the offending behavior.
Musetse mo sethong se re se batlang se se letelesega mo setšhabeng.
Re le simolotse ka ngwaga wa 2021 mme gone hela ha re setse re dira re tlhomamisa re lebile tsone di report tsa rona tse leng gore gwana anonyana ga ke a tshwara dipalo ke lenaneo le leng gore le kgonne go re tsisetsa.
This is a new program that started in 2021, but it has had some positive outcomes because success stories have increased and people have managed to reconcile.
It's the same thing that happens in the outside community where how kgonne go agisana batho chance gore ba tshele mmogo e kwa godimo hela thata.
Character molding re aga modira molato go simola.
We have the character molding program that focuses on reinventing the person from first time they enter our presence. We have them in groups of 10 to 16 and we educate them about dangers of anger and abuse. After that, we can be sure we have helped them to get back to the community. The Assistant Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Mr. Augustine Nyatanga, appreciated the initiative as the blueprint that can change and mold prisoners and help them reintegrate well into the society. But says a lot needs to be done to expose the program to the public so that they can understand it.
Where you can say with certainty that you are satisfied that the people that you will release from prison are fully rehabilitated. They cannot come back to prison because of social rejection, because we would have prepared them to understand the dynamics around social obligations as they go out. That is the most important thing. That is the big question. What is it that we are doing as a discipline to contribute?
When you deal with them, you must understand that they may be having their own weaknesses, which, if not addressed, may not help you to deliver what you want to achieve with them.
Implementers of the psychosocial program have been asked to ensure that they reach out to different communities in order to advance the initiative and make prisoner rehabilitation a success. Gabriel Meregi, PTV News, Mahalape.
The Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Prince Maele, says there's need to shift the narrative and mindset towards TVET education so that the country can produce globally competitive and entrepreneurial human capital that will drive Botswana into a new era of growth and opportunity. Minister Maele was speaking at the opening of the 13th Human Resource Development Skills Fair and Career Clinic on Tuesday. The Career Clinic is expected to last until Saturday at Fairgrounds here in Gaborone. With over 34% of young people unemployed, government is on its toes to find better ways of coming up with a sustainable solution. One of these is to start by unbundling and demystifying TVET education, which can create the much-needed jobs and produce sought-after entrepreneurs. This was echoed at the career fair, where many of the young people were gathered to champion a new path as they prepare for tertiary education.
With over 34% of young people unemployed, government is on its toes to find better ways of coming up with a sustainable solution. One of these solutions is to start by unbundling and demystifying TVET education, which can create the much-needed jobs and produce sought-after entrepreneurs. This was echoed at the career fair, where many of these young people were gathered to champion a new path as they prepare for tertiary institutions.
This theme comes at a critical juncture as the government of Botswana has renewed commitment to advancing TVET. The urgency of this transformation cannot be overemphasized. It calls for a radical shift in our educational landscape, one that equips our youth with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in an ever-evolving global economy. What is even more concerning is that the majority of these unemployed youth are secondary school leavers and university graduates, accounting for 68.7% and 13.8% respectively. This presents an urgent call for action. To break this cycle, we must implement strategic, forward-thinking human resource development policies in collaboration with all critical stakeholders, including the private sector.
The HRDC, which plays a key role in career paths, continues to give guidance of the requisite skills needed for industries.
This annual speaks for its events to your dedication in shaping the future workforce of this country. This is highly commendable, and I truly believe that the knowledge and experience gained today will not only benefit individuals, but will go a long way in shaping the future of Gaborone. Part of our strength comes from investing in our people, particularly our young minds. The fair is therefore a perfect example on how we are shaping the future by equipping learners with tools and the knowledge they need to succeed in fast-changing world.
The development of the workforce in industry. We work with industry very intimately to ensure that there's workplace training and development of human capabilities. So to that extent, we see ourselves as a critical partner, not only in the education ecosystem, but also in the world of work. And it is our pleasure that we've had that intimacy of working with the Ministry of Labour and Home Affairs in ensuring that we can be just at the right time, at the right place, to transition young people from education sector into the world of work.
Elevation of the TVET initiative is expected to help reduce overdependence of foreign skills and encourage mushrooming of local entrepreneurs who can help in the country's diversification. Botswana Television, Gaborone.
Thank you for staying with BTV News at 9 o'clock. Industry players have been called on to join hands in the fight against piracy of intellectual property, which continues to have a negative impact on Botswana's economy. Speaking at a training workshop, Assistant Minister for State President Ms. Maipelo Muphuting says piracy violates individuals' rights by granting unauthorized access to copyrighted content. Mpho Keleboge compiled the report.
Piracy-free economy fosters innovation, attracts investors and supports the growth of sustainable businesses and permanent employment opportunities. Minister Muphuting says government maintains zero tolerance to piracy and called on collective approach from content creators to fight against piracy.
It's not merely an inconvenience. It is a multi-billion-dollar global crisis that threatens jobs, livelihoods, and of course the sustainability of the creative industry. For Botswana, the implications are significant. Our creative sector is still finding its footing with filmmakers, musicians, writers, and digital content creators working tirelessly to establish themselves. They face challenges ranging from funding limitations to a lack of infrastructure, and now piracy threatens to undo the progress that has been made.
Piracy has a huge negative implication for the country's economy and undermines legitimate businesses by redirecting revenue streams from lawful creators and broadcasters to illegal operators.
Today's training will feature an insightful group discussions led by BOCRA, SIPA, the University of Botswana, and BERS. We are focused on critical topics like piracy in the era of AI, intellectual property rights, digital transformation, and regulation and piracy. This is an opportunity for us to learn, to grow, and to network. Let us join hands in fighting piracy in Botswana.
Our mandate is to manage borders, and if our local market is influxed with counterfeit goods or pirated goods, it means I'm not doing my job well. In a nutshell, those goods or the piracy issues, they affect our economy.
MultiTrust Botswana, Copyright Society of Botswana, and the Companies and Intellectual Property Authority, through their media partners, have called on government to assist with a legal framework to combat privacy and to come up with legislations which promote the ease of doing businesses across the country. Mpho Keleboge, Botswana Television, Gaborone.
And finally, the Minister of Local Government and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Ketlhalefile Motshekga, has stressed on the importance of empowering local authorities and promoting citizen participation in sustainable development planning to enhance service delivery as well as improve the country's economy. Speaking during a full meeting at the Katlan District Council, Mr. Motshekga indicated that the decentralization policy is imperative in achieving this mandate. Abigail Samson has more.
Decentralization policy, which is still on its drafting stages, is expected to be presented in July before the Parliament. Hence, the minister is visiting various councils across the country to gather opinions and also prepare the councils to adapt to the policy. Minister Motshekga indicated that the policy is fit in empowering councils to deliver services effectively and efficiently.
Botswana have long expressed the desire for devolved governance where decision-making power and resources are transferred to their elected local governments. The development of the decentralization policy is part of an undertaking by the government of Botswana to create a governance framework that defines and aligns the roles and responsibilities of central government, local governments, and non-state actors to drive decentralized, inclusive, and responsive service delivery and sustainable local development.
Ya ka re tlhaelwa ke madiana re na le ditsamaiso le maano a le gore ka tla ka ona ka dirang gore re kgone re kgoboketse council madi mme kana re ntse re sena tsona those powers.
Since at the current moment we are facing some financial constraints, this policy will enable us to make certain decisions. We will be able to develop effective revenue strategies and initiatives without any fear, which can be used to ease the council's expenses. Still at the meeting, councillors also raised concerns regarding constituency project funds. It has always been known that the decision on how to best use the CCP funds are spearheaded by the Member of Parliament, which led to some issues regarding dispensation of funds. However, it must be known that decisions regarding CCP are only made final after consultation meetings with councillors, VDC, Khosi, and residents. The only issue in this initiative is the Member of Parliament. Hence, I believe it's imperative to remove the MPs from the CCP funding and give decision powers to councillors, VDC, and Khosi.
CCP. Going forward, the Madiabo development,
I believe that going forward, development funds should be introduced because by doing so, we will not have problems in regards to dispensing CCP projects. However, according to me, I believe as leadership, we should ensure that CCP funds are used only for improvement of the community. As part of enhancing governance, the minister intends to ensure that there is an effective training and empowerment for all local authorities to ensure proper implementation. Abigail Samson, BTV News, Muchudi.
It's time for sport with Tato Khosimori.
Thank you, Khomotso Mapani. I welcome you all to Botswana Tonight sports segment. I am Tato Khosimori. Let's jump straight into our leading story. Botswana Karate Association President Mpho Bakwadi has been appointed as the second Vice President of the Commonwealth African Karate Federation, a significant milestone for Botswana's karate community. His appointment places Botswana at the forefront of international karate representation, providing an excellent platform to amplify the country's presence on the global stage. Here's Khomotso Sefako with the story.
Bakwadi, who is the sole representative from the southern region, joined the 5-member executive committee to steer the future of karate across the Commonwealth African countries. His role brings with the responsibility of advancing the sport within the region.
Go botlhokwa gore nne mo di-position tse di ko godimo so that ga go dira di-decisions le wena you are part of those decision making.
Being in influential positions within the sport is vital. This role enables us to represent our country and our region. giving us the platform to influence key decisions. As members of the executive committees, our presence ensures that our voices are consistently heard, not just at conferences, but throughout the decision-making process.
So go botlhokwa thata because how le ko ntle tshela go le dingalo gore go itse gore go iragalang mo di-committee tse di ko godimo.
One of Bakwadi and the committee's primary roles is to ensure that karate gains the recognition at prestigious global events like the Olympic Games.
Tshwanetse gore re develop karate ya rona in the region, and as you are aware
Our goal is to advance karate in our region, aiming for its recognition within the Commonwealth and its inclusion as an official Olympic sport. Karate had its debut trials during the Tokyo Olympics, and we are optimistic that in the future it will secure a place in both the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics.
Karate re batla gore re nne part of that, and the fact that re ka tsena mo Commonwealth, then we stand a better chance of being an Olympic sport. Ke tsa gore ko Japan e nagana le di-trial tsa gore karate ka tsengwe.
He emphasized that this appointment is a powerful opportunity for Botswana's voice to be heard, unlocking new avenues for hosting major international competitions.
Se botlhokwa ke go leka go improve standard sa karate mo region ya rona, especially le Botswana.
We are committed to elevating the standards of karate in our region, with a particular focus on Botswana. Currently, Botswana has only one internationally recognized referee. We are determined to change this by increasing the number of certified referees, as well as improving the training and recognition of our coaches and referees. Furthermore, we are dedicated to supporting our athletes in reaching the highest international levels and performing exceptionally well on the global stage.
So that way, we can standards or practice the higher levels.
The new executive committee will serve a 4-year term, running from 2025 to 2029, at which time the next committee will be elected. Joseph PTV Sport, Gaborone.
Now shifting our attention to football, the Zebras recorded their third win of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers last night, defeating Somalia 2-0 in a game that was played at Robert Itane Chilume Stadium. Hape Muhutsiwa opened the scoreboard on the 73rd minute before Mutuse Johnson sealed the win for the Zebras on the 82nd minute. Let's take a look at the highlights of that match.
a tshepo ke Selebale o romela mo karolo ya kotsi gape Mohutsiwa wash a ba dira jalo ya ntlha gape Mohutsiwa sa boloko e batla go tswa mo karolo ya ntlha motshameko o e bona jalo ka tlhogo gape Mohutsiwa pero bone ba go sa jang sekhutlo Asaka Johnson o a romela se sentle Johnson a ba ya tlanya le letloa dira jalo ya bobedi ya the Mighty Zebras ba ipeletsa ba Somalia mme Mutuse Johnson o ile go tša monate le balatedi ba hasela Botswana ha ile mamane o ipotsa gore bana go diragetse ka tsela ntseng jang wash goal number 2.
Before signing off, here is our last story tonight. Local football referee Tirwa Setlare says his appointment to officiate at this year's Girls Under-19 Volleyball World Championship is a clear indication that local volleyball referees have the relevant skills and the knowledge recognized and valued by Volleyball World Governing Body. Setlare has been selected by FIVB to officiate at the championship scheduled for Croatia and Serbia mid this year. Kagiso Molelekwa.
Setlare said he was happy to have been appointed to officiate at a global competition, adding that alone it was a sign of confidence in him as a referee. Being selected to officiate at this international championship shows that our local referees are recognized worldwide. Furthermore, this appointment is also an indication that our local referees are growing, looking at where we come from as a country. The former national team and BDF6 volleyball player highlighted that hard work and dedication are vital for every referee who aspires to officiate at the international stage.
at the IRCC international.
To be an international referee takes a lot of dedication. First, you do international referees candidate course, which paves the way to become an international referee. Then you have to officiate at selected international games as part of assessment process. After the Confederation of African Volleyball satisfied with your performance, the next phase is FIB referees course, where you also be assessed by the world governing body during an international tournament. I did the FIVB referees course in 2001 in Mexico, which I passed and was promoted to become FIVB international referee.
Higher level, ye long gore anong go tabo khona go officiate di game at world level. O simolla ha ba sonona like the Confederation yeleng African Volleyball ba khotsohalla your performance. Ba tao ba go isa gona le course engwe irwang for the FIVB ref. Ha o tsama go ne ko wa tsama o tsenella course a teng, ha o hetsa course a teng then gonna le tournament ye leng gore le one is at world level ye leng gore o tabo la seswa kana. So na re ka 2001 kana le tsona go attenda course a teng ine tshwaretse ko Mexico. So irile morago ga tournament a teng ke gona e le gore nya ba khotsohaletse ka kirang ka teng. Then I was ke mo ka go promote ya no from international referee gonna FIVB referee.
Setlhare's involvement at the international competition of volleyball will not only be a milestone for Botswana volleyball, but will also improve the overall development of the sport in the country. The knowledge and experience I'm going to gain from officiating at this tournament will benefit our local referees, because afterwards I will share it with them on how things are done at international level. This will encourage and inspire them to get to where I am.
Gore be re ano mo nako ye tempe ke khona gore nka go sheta bo di Olympic me ala se steng whatever experience ke tswang ka kana ke elong re ke ta ke share le ba elong gore na le bone kwane.
Setlhare is one of the 4 referees selected from the African Volleyball Confederation region to officiate at this year's Girls Under-19 World Championship slated for Croatia and Serbia from the 3rd to the 13th of July this year. Kagiso Molelekwa, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
And that's how we wrap up Botswana Tonight sports segment. Thank you very much for the privilege of your time. Before we part ways, a recap of our leading stories.
Botswana makes history by signing a treaty aimed at establishing SADC Parliament. Government call to support indigenous-led conservation.
In sport, the Zebras bounces back in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers contention with a win over Somalia.
Well, that's the end of our news bulletin this Wednesday evening. Up next is Weather. BTV News, Ikanyarona.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather forecast. My name is Kumo Cecil Monarch. This evening, clouds are visible over most areas in our country. There's a high possibility of some isolated thunder showers over some areas of Kalahari, southern southeast Gauteng, and southern central and northeast district. On Thursday, we're expecting some scattered thunder showers over Kalahari, southern southeast Gauteng and Kwenin district, with isolated thunder showers expected over Khansi and southern central district. Elsewhere, we're expecting some partly cloudy conditions. There's a possibility of fresh to strong winds over most areas of our country. The public is advised to take necessary precautions. In the morning, we're expecting some mild temperatures over northeast district. Over the remaining areas of our country, we're expecting some warm temperatures. In the afternoon, warm temperatures are expected over Khansi, Kalahari, southern southeast Gauteng and central district, with maximums ranging between 29 to 32 degrees Celsius. And over Ngamiland and Chobe, we're expecting some hot afternoon temperatures with maximums of 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. For some cities in SADC, tomorrow we're expecting some showers over Nairobi, Dar es Salaam and Windhoek, with some partly cloudy conditions expected over Antananarivo and few patches of clouds expected to be visible over Gqeberha. We're expecting some few patches of clouds to be visible over Rabat, with partly cloudy conditions expected over Cairo, and some showers are expected over Addis Ababa and Monrovia. That's the weather forecast. Have yourself a good evening.